The thunderstorm had raged for hours when I decided to turn in for the night. My small house is so empty with just me in it. I heard the echo of my slippers shuffling across the bare floor in the sparsely furnished house. Life had not been the same for me since my family members perished in a house fire 5 years ago. I was sitting on the edge of my bed, sipping some water, when the haunting cry of the raven pierced the night, calling my name. I choked on the water as it slid down my throat. I froze, unable to move, sitting in petrified silence, holding my breath, hoping I was mistaken, but then I heard it call my name again.
Dan! I know you can hear me.
Who's this? My breath hit the cold air that surrounded me and seemed to freeze my words for a few seconds before they melted and then evaporated.
I have been with you from the moment you took your first breath outside the womb. I am one of your guardian spirits.
What do you want?
I've been watching you living your life in isolated misery. I'm taking you on a soul journey.
No, I don't want to go.
I don't recall giving you a choice. I will be with you every moment.
I'm lightheaded, and I look down and see my body asleep on the bed. As my soul is lifted out of my sleeping body and I face a raven, mouth opening wide, I'm pulled down into his throat, and he spits me out into another time and space. A faraway realm of nightland where everything is lying dormant. The trees have bare leaves as though it's perennially fall. It's dark and cold. We have landed on a narrow, crooked dirt path between a row of bent trees on both sides of the path. The ground was cold against my shoeless feet. The heavy fog blanketed the landscape, obscuring my visibility and creating an eerie atmosphere. The raven soared past my head down the path in front of me. With each powerful flap of its wings, I could hear the distinctive sound of feathers slicing through the air and a rush of wind brushing against my face. I heard its throaty call in the distance and decided to walk ahead slowly. As the mist thickened, a spectral figure emerged, a man shrouded in the veil of fog, accompanied by the raven perched upon his shoulder. Frozen in fear, I dared not advance as the mysterious figure drew near. His visage flickered in and out of focus like a glitchy transmission, haunted by echoes from bygone voices, casting a sinister aura. The raven, sensing my fear, reassured me to cast them aside.
This facet of your being, once embraced but now spurned, quivers with trepidation at the thought of voicing itself, haunted by memories of severe consequences inflicted upon it in the past. Do you remember these voices from your past?
Amidst the cacophony of dissenting voices, each echoing criticism towards this aspect of my being, the most resounding and wrathful belonged to none other than my own self. With an almost gravitational pull, I found myself drawn toward the clamor of my own loud and enraged inner voice. I listened to my own voice, filled with disdain, whisper harshly, "You are insignificant. Nobody misses you." Despite the being's attempt to assert itself, its words were stifled by glitchy transmissions, leaving its voice muted and distorted. Yet amid the interference, I discerned the urgency in its attempt to communicate something vital. "Raven, is there nothing I can do to help this part of me?"
Quiet your critic.
I intervened and asked the critic to stop talking for a while. Yet, instead of cooperating with me, it began to vehemently taunt me. "Oh, impressive. You think you've really proven something, huh?" The amount of anger in the response startled me. It snapped at me again. "Heck, come on. How much time do you need to conjure up your next feeble comeback?" I looked at the raven, my thoughts swirling around my head like leaves scattered in a hurricane wind. I was speechless in my own company, and I certainly wasn't enjoying it. I asked the raven what to do.
Ask your critic what it needs from you.
I looked at my critic and asked, "What do you need from me?" My critic responded, "What do you need from me? Oh, bless my heart, how touching. Do you seriously expect me to swallow this bullshit? You're being a bully. Oh, look who's talking. The biggest bully around here thinks they can throw stones from their glass house. I need a break from you. I wish I could silence you." Suddenly the critic could not speak. He was mute. He tried to yell, but nothing came out. He was angry at me. I told my inner critic, "If you want to speak to me, you need to be respectful. Understand?" The critic reared back and nodded. His face elongated, the smile disappeared. I turned towards the part of myself that was a glitchy transmission. I have been so hard on you. Can you ever forgive me? There was a fading outline of a toddler boy forming near the left leg of the entity. The toddler's form became clearer, then faded, then became clear again. The toddler was hugging the leg of the entity. Its sad face was covered in tears, and it kept hiding its face into the leg of the entity. I reached out the palm of my right hand to the toddler, but he hid his face into the leg of the entity again. It's okay. I won't hurt you. We can take our time to get to know each other better rather than criticizing ourselves. We can listen to each other. The boy turned his face to look me in the eyes. It was then that I heard the entity say in a clear voice, "Thank you." When we shook hands, a mild electrical tingle flowed through my body's nerves like a radio wave. I knew things were going to be better from this moment forward. Just then, my critic grabbed hold of my arm and the raven transported us back to my home. And in a split second, I was back, sitting on the edge of my bed, wondering if what I had experienced was real. Then I heard the voice of the boy.
I'm scared.
I am too, but we'll work on this together. The raven was perched on the tree branch outside the bedroom window, watching and listening to me. Raven drew a deep breath in, spread his wings, and departed, leaving behind the sound of his wings flapping against the air. The sound attracts my attention, and I look towards the window. But all that was left of the raven's presence was the swinging of the flimsy tree branch he had perched on. I whisper, "Thank you, Raven."